Hello friends, I am Dr. Ankur. Welcome to BLK Pediatric Practice. Today, I shall be discussing about surfactant replacement therapy. We all know that RDS is a significant problem in preterm and it can affect 90% of the infants born at 24 weeks to up to 80% of the infants born at 28 weeks. However, only 50% of the very low birth weight infant would require surfactant replacement either in the delivery room or beyond the delivery room area, because we all know that it improves the survival and it reduces this pneumothorax rate. In the delivery room, we ask only one question: whether baby is breathing or crying. If the answer is yes, that means we should follow the routine care. That means baby should be cared over mother's abdomen and continue delayed cord clamping up to 60 seconds. But some of the preterm infants can develop respiratory distress syndrome right in the delivery room. For that, we should avoid intubating the infants in the delivery room. Rather, we should give a fair trial of CPAP in the range of 6 centimeters of water. Evidence suggests that if you use CPAP, it can decrease the chronic lung disease and bronchopulmonary dysplasia. That means if you treat 20 to 25 of infants with CPAP, you can prevent one bronchopulmonary dysplasia. Management options would depend on mainly three factors: gestational age, work or breathing, and a FiO2 need. There are many scores. We commonly use Silverman-Anderson scores, and if the score is more than 3 for a preterm infants, we would give some support either in form for humidified high-flow nasal cannula or CPAP. However, CPAP is considered as a gold standard treatment for infant with RDS. There are chances of failure on humidified high-flow cannula in the range of 10 to 30%. And the one rule of 30 is that if the gestational age is less than 30 weeks and a FiO2 requirement more than 30%, the chances of failure is high. Now, we shall discuss about surfactant replacement therapy. For that, X-ray is not must. European Consensus Guideline published in 2019 suggests that if any infants, irrespective of gestational age, if the requirement of a FiO2 is more than 30% during the first hour, we should consider for giving surfactant replacement therapy. However, any baby who would require intubation in the delivery room area, we can consider giving surfactant even at a low threshold. If the baby is already on high flow, we know that the chances of failure is in the range of 10 to 25%. We should give a fair trial of CPAP. Again, if on CPAP, if the FiO2 requirement is still in the range of 30%, we can consider that infant for surfactant replacement therapy. The standard mode of giving surfactant is by INSURE technique, that is intubate, give surfactant, and rapidly extubate. It was found in study that if you follow INSURE technique as compared to no INSURE technique, you can decrease the chronic lung disease in the range of 50%. Ideally, we should give surfactant within first 2 hours of life, because if you give surfactant after 2 hours, the risk of BPT is high. If you compare between Poractin alpha versus Beractin alpha, it was found that Poractin alpha in a dose of 200 mg per kg is superior than Poractin alpha 100 mg per kg or Beractin alpha 100 mg per kg. It was also found that the need for redosing would be less if you use Poractin alpha in a dose of 200 mg per kg, that is 2.5 ml per kg. We know that INSURE is again an invasive technique. That means there is a risk of intubation related problem, that is chronic lung disease in very low birth weight infant. So what could be the other alternative method by which we can give either by a less invasive or non-invasive method of surfactant replacement therapy. There are few methods which has been used in the literatures, either by using thin catheter like orogastric tube, umbilical catheter, arterial catheter, or suction catheter. Baby is already on CPAP, we can give surfactant using these catheter. There are other methods by giving surfactant like LMA, they are still under trials, and there are other methods by which we can give a nebulized surfactant technique. In this video, you can see that baby is already on CPAP with a high FIDO requirement of nearly 100%, and baby, in this case, we are giving surfactant using Magel's forceps, orogastric tube, and under direct laryngoscopic technique, we are inserting the orogastric tube just 2 to 3 centimeter below the vocal cord. Just like endotracheal tube holding, we hold the orogastric tube over the palate, and one of your colleague giving surfactant as a bolus as fast as possible, provided baby is tolerating. There are chances of regurgitations of surfactant in the range of 10 to 15% of loss. That is why most of us are using surfactant in a dose slightly higher than normal doses. You can see that after giving surfactant, workup breathing has decreased and their FIDO requirement has decreased, so that pressure requirement would also decrease. We know that various evidence and meta-analysis show that LISA, that is least invasive surfactant administration, or MIST technique, is a promising technique. It decreases the need for mechanical ventilations, and ultimately it decreases the chronic lung disease and death in the range of 25% reduction. But there is still some concern, though it's a non-invasive, but it is a misnomer, because here we are still using laryngoscope, which can be painful and can cause trauma to the airway. We are using catheter with a pointed tip, they can still damage the airway, and it's a painful technique. There are certain suggestions that we should use some amount of sedation to prevent the pain. The moment baby is opening the mouth, we know that there is loss of CPAP delivery, and there are loss of surfactant because of regurgitation. That is why there is suggestion that we should use 10 to 50% higher doses of surfactant while using LISA or MIST technique. We know that while using INSURE technique, we are giving positive pressure ventilation, but here we are not giving any positive pressure ventilation. There are chances of less homogeneous distribution. Even though it's a promising technique, still it is not standard of care. Thank you, friends, for watching.